Hello, guys. It's been like a really long time, I know, but I've been busy with life. Anyways, to get into today's topic, now this is going to be pretty controversial, and I really don't expect most people to agree with this, but to me, it's the truth. And the truth is, it's all men, okay? It's all men. I can't be the only person that gets triggered when somebody's saying, "Oh, men are do this and men do that." Oh, also I know, like, hey, it's not all men. It's not all men. Like from now on, I suggest ladies don't say that. Like if they can't get that you're not talking about all men, that's on them. Because I've never really heard men when they're ranting and raving about women then give themselves a little disclaimer and say, I know, it's not all women, it's not all. They never say that. So why are we saying that? Why? And the truth is, it's all men. And what is all men? Misogynists. They all are. All of them. Every single last one. Your dad, your brother, your best friend's husband, your boyfriend, all of them. Okay? They're either straight up misogynist, they're misogynist adjacent, and I'll explain what that means later, or they were a misogynist and they're now a recovering misogynist. But like what people who are addicted to any kind of vice say, right? Once an addict, always an addict. There you go. Once a misogynist, always a misogynist. Even if you're recovering from it, like it was still you, still part of you, still something you're gonna have to battle with for the rest of your life. So, as far as I'm concerned, all men. It's all men. So, I want to start with like a little story time to kind of lay out my argument, so to speak. So, this is a true story. I know this person personally, and I've seen this with my own eyes. So, there was this lady, a neighbor, let's call her Sarah, and she was married to this man named David. David used to beat Sarah, okay? Like smacking her around. And they would be yelling like everybody in the neighborhood knew because you would hear them screaming, you would hear her screaming. Everybody knew what was going on. Like he would give other men advice about how they need to put women in their place. So it was not like a secret. It wasn't anything he was trying to hide. None of that stuff. So eventually, one day, Sarah decided to grow a backbone and leave David because oh, he's an abusive man, like I can't deal with this, blah 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 blah. So David gets kicked out the house. He leaves her with all the kids. I think they had like 5 kids. And then he goes and he gets like a mistress or whatever. This mistress, he doesn't put one finger on her. He's a good man, Savannah, to that mistress, right? He treats her so well. He's so respectful, like anything she wants, buys her flowers. He's like so kind and so sweet and is the provider and the protector. So Sarah sees this and is like, hold up. He's changed. Oh my God, look at how he's treating her. Like he doesn't hit her. He's so nice. So what does she do? She takes him back. And you know what he does? He goes back to beating her. And you're asking, I'm sure, like she did, how is that possible? Because people aren't just one dimension, okay? Like the good man that you see now was a bad man to another woman or will be a bad man to another woman in the future. It just is what it is. Okay? Like him being nice, David being nice to the mistress, he was still a misogynist then. Like he didn't suddenly stop and Sarah brought out the misogynist in him. He was still a misogynist then, even being like such a good, kind, gentle man. He was still a misogynist. And as soon as he went back with Sarah, it was business as usual. It's all him. Okay? Like, there are people out here talking about, "Oh, how oh, I have good men in my family, like, my brothers are, like, so great, like, they treat their wives so" yeah, but there was a girl that they dogged out before, okay? Whether they were when they were growing up or whatever, it doesn't matter, okay? It's all men. All of them have the capabilities to be this because that's what they are. It's always just right underneath the surface waiting to come out. The only thing that stops them from really coming out and acting wild with their true nature is their self-control and their level of respect for the woman that they're with. That's it. Okay? Because I used to date a good man, right? But how he would talk about how women he didn't find attractive. That's telling right there. Okay? And what I mean by misogynist adjacent, now tell me if I'm the only person that knows this, but men tend to have these group chats with each other, right? Where they share memes and whatnot. And there's always one clown posting the most explicit, disgusting things about women. Like, there's a misogynist in there. I mean, they all are, but there's open practicing misogynists in the group chats. And the men who supposedly the good guy is LOLing, sending like smiley faces, reacting, not calling him out. There you go. That's a misogynist adjacent. He may not be practicing, but he's an ally. He's an ally. That's what it is. Right? So when people come out here and talk about, "Oh, not all men, my husband," yeah, it was your husband because I'm sure he has like group chats, and whether he's the one posting the videos of the girls he's banging naked and or sending these disgusting pictures to each other that they think it's hilarious where women are objectified animals, and he's just like, "Oh my god, oh, that's just Brian. He just you know how he is." No, you're an ally. You're a misogynist adjacent. There you go. It's that simple. We need to normalize removing the whole, "Oh, not all men" from our vocabulary. Like, we just need to remove that. So I know you're probably gonna say, but Siren, why? Why are all men misogynists? Like, how could you say such a thing? Well, because we live in a patriarchy. That's the answer. Let me ask you a question. If you were born in a pool of excrement, pool of crap, okay, let's keep it PG. That's where you were born. You're born in this mess. Would you not smell like it? Would the smell and the scent not stick to you? Even if you showered, wouldn't it just permeate the very air around you? Like, how could you not end up smelling like that? How could you not end up smelling like what you were born in and soaked in? We live in a patriarchal society that shoves down everyone's throat. Men are superior, women are inferior. Okay? It's in every single step of life. We're wallowing in this. Okay? Think about it. What is one of the greatest insults little boys, teenagers, grown men tell each other to humiliate each other? Oh, don't be a girl. Don't be a B. You're a P. Don't be a P. Oh, you hit like a girl. You're such a P. Why are female words used to describe, like, or even words that are used to describe women, why are they all negative? Why are they insulting? If you want to degrade a man, tell him he's a woman. Is that not wild? You want to uplift a woman and give her props? Oh, tell her, oh my God, you're a real man. You're a better man than these men. That's it right there. That's why. They cannot escape this. Now, I like a lot of history, and I'm like super interested in especially like historical disasters. So there was this shipwreck, right? It was the USS Arctic, and it's from 1854. There's like a lot of videos on it on YouTube, and I'm sure there's like lots of books written on it and stuff. But it's one of the most terrible disasters, like shipwrecks ever, right? And basically, the gist of it is that there were women, men, and children on the ship. This happened like before the Titanic sunk, I believe. Basically, the ship sank, and not one woman or child survived. Mind you, they had lifeboats on this. Okay? All of these survivors, 100% of these survivors were men. And I'm talking about men who had their wife and their kids on that ship. And while this whole disaster was going on, a group of men decided, you know what we're gonna do? Mind you, I'm sure some of those men, out of all these men that decided to do this, were quote unquote good men. They were part of the not all men that people were talking about, right? But in that situation where the opportunity with zero consequences was available, this is what they decided to do. So a group of these men decided to go break into the ship's wine area, get roaring drunk, and decided, you know what, let's just go like grape the woman. Like nobody's gonna stop us. Like, what are they gonna do? We're all gonna die, so might as well, right? And that's what they went in and started doing. They were attacking them, they were hurting them. When women were trying to get, they were trying to board them on the life rafts and the boats, the men were like, yeah, no. And we're stealing it from them, we're beating them up. So all of the children and all of the women, they all went down with the ship. They all died. And whether they were great before it happened or not, that's what happened. So it was like just this whole big disaster. And out of all those people who survived, you mean to tell me that not one of them was ever considered a quote unquote good man, or later on in life were pillars of the community or whatever? But they all did that though. They were all part of it. Maybe the ones didn't actually do the graping, or maybe they weren't the one to like beat up the kids and like throw them out the boats, right? These grown men, but they stood by and they did nothing, and they jumped on and saved themselves. That's the provider and protector right there in action. Okay, that's the truth. Like people need to listen to history and really research this stuff, and you'll see the truth. The Titanic was pretty famous because of how they allowed women and children on first, because that was not really like, it may have happened sometimes, but that wasn't no standard best practice at all. It was, oh, the ship's going down. Oh, I saw she was pretty. Let's take her. That's what it was. That was common practice. And the men would just survive and save themselves and then lie about it later. But luckily, they tried to kill the captain. He survived. They found him. He was like on the wheel of the ship or whatever. And he was able to tell the story. And the ones who were caught, well, some of them got hanged, and the others, they went to different countries and never showed their face again. But I'm sure they went on to have children, got married, and act like it was all normal and become the good men that people talk about when they say not all men. And by the way, in case you were wondering if it was like, oh, well, maybe it was only like the ones who were evil. Let's say it was 10 of them. Nah, it was like 88 of them that survived that. Okay, so you mean to tell me that all of them were completely evil people? No, men know how to switch it up, right? When the time is right and it's the opportune time, oh, they'll become that regular, the boogeyman kind of man that women tell each other stories about. Your good man will become that man. Think about it. Like a lot of these like serial killers, like where they find them, like years down the line, when they finally like identify them through like DNA tracking or whatever, where are they? Oh, they're like a freaking deacon in the church with a wife and kids. Meanwhile, in his youth, he spent all the time just like killing prostitutes and doing God knows what else, right? But where do you usually find them? "Oh, just a regular middle-aged guy. He's so nice and helps the old ladies in the church. Like, he's such a great guy, this brother in Christ. He's such a good man." Nah, I'm telling you, it sounds radical, it sounds extreme, but I'm telling you, it's all men. They all have it in them. It is right under the surface, and you're just waiting for the opportunity. Let it be like the slightest thing happens where there's the purge or something, or there's no loss for the day, and see what happens. See what happens. It's the good men that's gonna be out there doing horrors to women and children. There was a study done, let me see what year this was. Possibly in 2013, but it's pretty much about the patterns of sexual aggression in a community sample of young men. And the sample was, I believe, between 18 and 35-year-old men. And about half of the men admitted, and these are the ones who actually said yes, okay, and told the truth. So it was probably more, right? But about half of them reported engaging in some type of sexual activity with a woman when they knew she was unwilling. And I am sure, ladies, if you just think back, or even men, if they're listening, like just think back. Have you ever wanted to sleep with a woman or your girlfriend or wife or whatever? And she said, "No, I'm tired. I don't really want to. Maybe the next day." And you freaking just pestered and nagged until she agreed. Ladies, has that ever happened to you? Where you didn't want to, but they just annoyed you to the point where you're like, fine, whatever, just get over it. Like just do it and whatever. I don't care. Yeah. What does that tell you? I've never met somebody that hasn't happened to. I'm telling you, it's all men. And they'll like say, "Oh no, that's not coercion, that's not sexual coercion. What are you talking about?" It is. It is. If somebody says no and you feel the need to harass them until they say yes, like what are you doing? Like you don't even care that they don't want you. You just care that you can't get your way. Misogyny. So anyway, ladies, that is all I have for this video. Leave your comments if you have any down below, and I will speak with y'all again. Bye.